checks the ladder. Because it's time to start the show. Arr! You're listening to the Sports Porch.
Let's bring it back to the Steelers.
All right, we'll bring it back to the Steelers. The Pirate has retired. Thank you for listening to the Sports Porch on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. We are live all over the world on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, and anything else that matters. And as a matter of fact, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to put us live on radio.pgh. And I'm going to do that right now because I am your technical director and I am in charge. All right. Thanks for being here, guys.
God help us all.
God help us all. I want to remind you that we do drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your freaking podcasts.
Anywhere.
Want to say one quick thing about the Buccos report. I'm bringing it back for a big season-ending spectacular. Woo! They're 70 and 80 right now. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I'll be honest with you guys.
Keep Brian Hayes for MVP.
Complete transparency here. It's for me right now, not worth it doing the Buccos report because I want to see a winner. We'll try it again next year, but I got an end of the season show. Now, we do have something very, very special tonight.
We certainly do. We have somebody live
on scene. That is right. Live.
Down at the ACK. Steelers Browns Monday night. Hockey Jesus is on the scene. We're going to bring him in. Hockey Jesus, can you hear us?
What up, boys?
Steve on
What's going on?
I love it. Not much, man. But hey, look, what's the vibe down there outside of Acrisure right now? What's the vibe?
Well,
are there more Steelers fans or more Browns fans?
I'm telling you, I said it was like 6 to 7% Browns fans. I actually think it's dwindled down to about 3 to 4% Browns fans down here at the Acrisure Stadium. And fans are excited, man. I mean, they're really just streaming in. You can tell, like, everybody's expecting a win. Everybody's actually got smiles on their face. I don't see a lot of people who are, like, concerned about this game at all. And I think it's good optimism. I don't think it's optimism where it's like foolish. I think people understand that we beat the Browns. You know, we've won 20 straight Monday night games. The Browns haven't beat us. The Browns haven't beat us since 2003. Come on, let's go. Do you really think the Browns are going to beat us at home on a Monday night?
Are these the
no way
Browns?
No way.
I think if it's close, it's closer than it's been in 20 games.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it'll be closer towards the end. I'm looking at Kenny Pickett throwing 2 touchdowns tonight, boys. I think tonight's the night where he actually gets over that 1 touchdown hump, and I just feel really good about this game. You know, if the Steelers are really going to contend, this is a game they have to win. You've got to beat a divisional rival at home. Yep. And the Browns are off of a high right now, you know, beating the Bengals. So, honestly, they don't even really have to win this game to stay relevant. So they're not going to. It's really that simple. I don't think they're that good of a team that they're going to be the team that takes down the Steelers and the Bengals in back-to-back weeks. Just don't think they're that good.
Honestly, after the first game, okay, against the 49ers, who are a remarkably better team than the Cleveland Browns.
A little bit.
And it is not a division rivalry. And
that's what I'm saying.
And I am just, you know what? I'm kind of on pins and needles about this one. And because Mark and I were talking in the studio here before the show, if the Steelers, and again, guys, look, Monday night game, we want to be positive. We want the Steelers to win. We want to see Kenny Pickett throw a bunch of touchdowns. We want the offense to get back on track. We want the defense to do well. What I'm saying is, if the Steelers lose this game,
this is the season.
Is this the season? Is it the end?
No, it's not the end, but it definitely signals that they're not going to be competitive enough to win the division for sure, which means now they got to hope to get a wild card. And you know what happens when you're fighting for the wild
Still
card?
talking playoffs.
The wild card means nothing. The chances
Right.
of you winning a wild card game against a Kansas City or pick any of the teams
Bills,
that will be at the top.
yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it's the Ravens this year. I mean, they're 2-0. I mean, you don't even really know who's going to be at the top right now because the FC is still kind of a little upside down. But the bottom line is you really want to win your division. And if you don't win this game, you really have no chance at winning the division, in my opinion.
True.
Because
Yeah.
the Browns are the team you beat at home when you win the division. The Browns are not the team you lose at home when you win the division. There's just no way. Even if the Bengals turn out to be garbage. You know?
And DG is in the house as always. Thank you, DG. He did text me earlier and tell me that he did receive the Pittsburgh Property Diva 2023 Steelers season schedule calendar.
Excellent.
If anybody would like one, please let me know. I'm happy to send you one because, as usual, we overbuy them and we have 10,000, and I think we only send out 500. Anyway, so DG says it depends on if Garrett keeps his helmet on or not. I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying I'm on pins and needles because from what I saw last week was a team completely out of sync. And
well, here's two things for you to help your pins and needles.
Thank you.
One, Chubb has never rushed for more than 100 yards in Pittsburgh in his whole career. And two, if the Steelers are winning at halftime, the Browns have lost 85% of their games that they're losing at halftime. So really the key is for the Steelers to get out to a good start, to score first, and just basically keep the lead. I don't care if it's a 3-0 lead. I don't care if it's a 7-3 lead at halftime. To me, that's good enough. That means everything's working out right, because the worst thing that can happen is the Browns get the ball and Chubb runs for an 80-yard touchdown the first time they touch the ball. That would be bad. That would not be something that would make me feel good about the rest of the game.
If at halftime the score is 3-3, Steve, is that good enough for you to stay?
Oh, dude, I'm staying till the end. I am not one of these fans who picks up and leaves.
Well, what about
because I got to beat the traffic.
What about the early morning for a manufacturing plant manager?
Yeah.
Well, you can always just go to work after the game.
Go on fumes.
Oh, you mean you take me into your office and sit on the front stairs?
If you're out late enough, I say just pick up and go into the office. Why not?
Yeah.
It's been done before.
That's
if you're sober. That's if you're sober. Which I plan on being sober at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m. Yeah, but in between, you can't speak for in between, right?
Well, hopefully there'll be a good enough signal. I'll give you a halftime preview of how I'm feeling, and you'll know then. How about that?
I'm pretty sure we will know then.
Yep,
absolutely. So, what are the keys to this game, Steve? Since you're down there in Acrisure, we're going to give you the floor.
I heard that Amari Cooper is active tonight.
Yeah, Amari Cooper's playing. I guess Myles Garrett's playing hurt. Honestly, the keys to the game is Kenny Pickett being able to find his receivers. He's kind of at a disadvantage not having Deontay out there, but I think that'll actually make him sharper.
Yeah, I agree with you. Could that be a blessing in disguise, not having Deontay out there? Because that's going to force more targets to Pickens.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and remember, Pickens is kind of banged up too. Pickens has got a hammy, so that's not good from that standpoint. But
Pickens is a real man.
Yeah, but he'll play. He'll be out there. Yeah. I just hope that he doesn't try to just force feed him. I think the key is actually tonight is hitting Freiermuth over the middle. I think you'll see that a lot. I think you'll see Freiermuth catching a ball right behind the linebackers. Their linebackers, their middle of their field is really a lot weaker than San Francisco. And I think that'll be the strength for Pickett, hitting Freiermuth. I think he likes to throw Freiermuth across the middle too. So to me, that's going to be the key. Once they open that up, then I think that'll open up the running game. And then once you can open up the running game, I think you'll see Najee and whoever else they decide to give the ball in the backfield some holes, and I think they'll be fine. But they have to come out and hit those balls across the middle early. They can't go 3 and out twice or 3 times in a row. I think that would be a bad sign. So the keys to winning would be getting out and scoring, whether it's first is a field goal or a touchdown. I don't really care. I prefer a touchdown, of course, but I think just getting on the board first will be the key.
And as Steve said, I agree completely. When it comes to early in the game, hitting balls, that's where it's at.
You got to hit your balls over the middle.
You got to hit the ball. You got to hit the balls early to win the game long.
Meanwhile, Amy Bollinger says, "Can we stop the run up the middle?" I'm guessing that she's saying with Hayward out, Chubb for 200 yards. Now, Amy, are you a Cleveland fan here? Amy,
Amy's a Steelers fan.
Amy's a Steelers fan. I think sure about that.
I think she's worried.
She's worried. She's concerned.
You know what? Given what's going on with the Steelers defense, well, first of all, I would be surprised if
200 yards.
Yeah. I'm with you, Steve. I'm with you, Steve.
But they do have to stop. They have to stop the run early, because if they continue to go to the run, Chubb will open up something eventually.
Yes.
So they gotta trick the Browns into thinking they got to score quickly, and then that puts the ball into Deshaun Watson's hands, and that plays right into the Steelers' defense. Oh, by the way, the one thing I'm really looking forward to is when T.J. Watt gets his sack. That'll make him the all-time sack leader for the Steelers.
Yep.
So to see that live is going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. I wonder if Harrison's at the game. So DG says it may just force more.
Screw you, Garrett.
Yeah. So,
I was being belligerent to me. I had to get him. Yeah.
Why would he be belligerent to you? I mean, you're obviously an incredibly intimidating figure.
Steve, I like your feistiness. Just ready to mix it up.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
I got my fighting clothes on.
Yeah. Well, you got to hit those balls early. Oh yeah. Well, that's why right there. That's why you're taking on the persona of Palomalu. That's what's going on. And that
I don't have quite the hair he has.
No.
Not many people do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's all because of head and shoulders. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So I am not. I like I said, I'm on pins and needles. This to me is not just the division. This is the season. And the reason I say that, and I'll let you chime in here, Mark. Now, hold on. The reason I say that is if the Steelers look like they looked in the first game, then we got a lot more problems. And I think that it will force the hand and Canada will be gone. Because it's a broken record. Canada. The play calling is horrible.
Canada.
And
home and faithful land.
Yeah, that's not the right words, but
I'm sure it's not.
But it sounds good.
Yeah.
And we did lose the video from Steve, but there we go.
Sorry, I'm just checking in with my my peeps. They're on their way.
That's okay. We apologize to the viewers and the audience at home for the technical difficulties, but we've got it all sorted out now. Steve on the street is back in studio.
Yes. So I think the keys to the game are Pickett has to come out sharp, but I think a bigger key here is that Najee Harris has to show up. He's got to show up. He's got to be in this game. And Amy May says she's with me, which is rare, but I appreciate that, Amy May. Mm-hmm. And she hates Canada, and I do too. And you guys know how I feel about Najee Harris, not the answer, but he's the guy they got to play.
So you're saying he's the anti-Allen Iverson, not the answer.
He is the
All right, there, my peeps.
Always got
Craig, my man.
There we go.
Let's go, baby.
Now we're part of the thing. All right. Well, listen, baby. Steve on the street.
Yeah.
Steve on the street. We'll let you go into the yak.
All right, I'm heading in, boys. I'll catch you at halftime.
We'll see you at halftime, brother. You take it easy. Be safe.
All right, later.
All right, don't get beat up. All right.
Yep.
Steve on the street, Hockey Jesus. Okay, listen, guys, if you have something you want to say or you want to make a prediction of the Steelers game tonight, please give us a call. You'll be on the show, not your face, just your voice, 412-805-7236. It's a number at the bottom of the screen. Would love to hear some predictions for tonight's game. Obviously, we're rooting for the Steelers. But, Mark and I, we did talk. And now that we have the consummate fan who always thinks that Joe Burrow is going to stink, even though he drafts him for his fantasy team,
right,
and is constantly on the Steelers bandwagon.
And isn't it funny that he actually has him during the season when he might stink?
Yeah, I know. It's great. Well, and
he's hurt too.
Hey, and once again, it was a good non-pick that I forced on you. I forced that on you.
Yes.
Yeah. So if the Steelers lose, I think it's the end of their season.
Well,
I don't even think it depends on how bad they lose.
Well, here's the thing. Look, if they lose, is the season over? Technically, no.
Well, of course.
I mean, look, they can still run off a bunch of wins against, mediocre teams and, do the classic Tomlin, no losing seasons, finish up at like 8-1 or 9-8. Or,
yeah, maybe.
Something, maybe, right? But I think that the reality is that if you lose,
sorry about that.
if you lose this game, any hope of, let's say, winning a game in the playoffs is gone.
I think if you lose this game, I think there's going to be a lot of things brought into question. Dare I say it, if Kenny Pickett performs as poorly as he performed in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I have to say this a lot because I don't think that people necessarily buy into it, but I am a Steelers fan. I want, and anybody who has watched the show and listened to the podcast knows that I was on the Kenny Pickett bandwagon well before they drafted.
You were in love with him.
I know.
Beautiful head of hair.
Absolutely. He is a good looking young man.
Yep.
And actually, I think at this point, I think he pretty much has his head screwed on straight.
Yeah, you couldn't get enough of him.
That's true.
Yeah.
But so if there's anybody out here who wants to see him succeed, it is definitely, I am in the top tier there. I want this guy to succeed. I am not convinced that that's going to happen. I am convinced that, again, the Canada offense I think he is right now is the victim of a very, very poor offensive minded coach.
Sure.
And we've seen this in the NFL before, where you have had players who have had a lot of talent and definitely were held back by the coaching or the situation.
Sure.
And then some that weren't. But if the Steelers lose this game in the same sort of fashion that they lost the last game, and I'm not saying that the Browns are going to come out and put up 20 on them before they score. What I mean is the Browns could score almost nothing.
Just like interception.
But the Steelers look bad,
right.
And Kenny Pickett looks bad. I think that locker room is not going to be a very fun place. And I'm also thinking that there's going to be some changes because
not with Tomlin though. He won't, and that's his problem.
Yeah,
that's his problem.
I know we talk about this all the time.
You can almost bet. I mean, look, if they miss the playoffs again this year, I don't think Canada will be back. But you could have said the same thing last year.
Should have said the same.
Right.
Did say the same thing.
So to think that he would be fired in season is pretty unrealistic.
I know it's unrealistic, but it's needed. I would rather than bring a new guy in here and start a playbook over and be willing to put up with the trials and tribulations of learning that than watch another friggin' jet sweep, poorly planned game that has absolutely no direction, while a quarterback who I really think I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Fame guy. Who knows? But I think he can run an offense and definitely wants to win. Well, Matt Canada is wasting this guy. He's wasting him. And for that matter, honestly, I'm down on Najee, but how much of the Canada offense is he a victim of too? I mean, I don't think he has the burst. I don't think he has the vision, but he has the heart. And sometimes when it comes to running backs, when they have power in their legs the way he does, heart is what puts them over the edge. And I don't think he's put in a position to win either. And did I see something this week where Broderick Jones had been moved to right tackle?
I didn't see that.
I did. If you saw that, call in 412-805-7236 or drop a comment here. We do have another comment coming in. Not sure what it. DG says the Steelers were beaten horribly off the ball last week, both offense and defense. If it's the same tonight, neither Pickett or Najee can help. That, you know what? Right. That is absolutely right, DG. And I hate to go down this road, but if they lose tonight, I'm telling you right now, it is not going to be a winning season. It's just not. I do not see that happening. This game to me is a must-win game in order for the Steelers to even think about being relevant. And think about the irony right here. The Bengals look horrible.
Right.
They look horrible.
Right.
And Burrow may be hurt again.
Right. Right. And he's probably even playing hurt.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's playing hurt.
Yeah.
And now he re-aggravated his hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a chance that this could be the sort of exception season. Like they'll probably bounce back next season, but maybe this is a season where they go 6-10 or
I don't know.
I mean, it could be.
It could be.
But on the flip side, though, the Ravens look very good.
They do.
So this could be, your Ravens run away with the division. And then there's just kind of like some muck in the middle.
Yeah, which,
yeah.
And the muck happens to be the Steelers. And I would tell you right now, the Steelers are the worst team in this division. I don't care what anybody says.
I'd agree with that.
The facts are the facts.
I'd agree with that. I mean, if you look at Cleveland,
nobody watching likes me right now. They all hate me.
No, it's okay. I mean, no, but I mean, in all honesty, like, look, the way you have to sort of look at it is, now take aside the fact that we all hate Deshaun Watson because he's a horrible
because he's a jerk off. Right.
But if you're going just based off talent and you had to pick a roster, I would pick Cleveland's roster over the Steelers. I mean, think about it. Okay, who's just exceptional, right? TJ Watt. Well, Myles Garrett's probably like the next best guy in the league. The quarterback, I mean, Deshaun Watson so far in his career is better than Kenny Pickett. The running back, Chubb, is better. Their best receiver, Amari Cooper, is better. Their tight end, Njoku, is probably better at this point than Muth. Cornerbacks, they've got Denzel Ward. He's better than any cornerback on the Steelers.
Right.
Minkah Fitzpatrick is better than any safety on Cleveland. I mean, I pretty much have gone over it, and it's mostly Cleveland. I think that Cleveland honestly doesn't win because they're kind of a mess as an organization.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as just talent on the field, I think they do actually have more talent than the Steelers.
Yes, I think they do. Like I said, this worries me. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think that I don't think they're going to win this game. I honest to God, I have no faith right now.
Well,
in that offense coming together.
Yeah.
And in you made this point to Steve. You said, do you think Deontay Johnson being out could be, a silver lining, a blessing in disguise? Right. I actually do, which is not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing.
No, it's not. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Here's the thing. And I think this is what it comes down to. The reason why you and I don't have any confidence in the Steelers is because they've done nothing to give us confidence. Like when you're a Steelers fan, and like Steve is a Steelers fan, right? He's been their fan his entire life, right? So for him, like winning 20 consecutive Monday nights, that means something to him. Whereas you and I are just looking at tonight's game. who's the better team. Now, they may win and win 21 in a row, but that doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything right now that the Steelers have been one of the better teams in the NFL for the past 20 some years. It doesn't matter right now.
No. And I think all too often we get caught up in that.
Right.
We also here in Pittsburgh get caught up in the whole non-losing season thing.
Right.
And as I've said in the past, a fan base, we've been spoiled here.
Right.
You look at a team like Cleveland. They're cursed, man.
Right.
Look at a team like the Commanders, how bad they've been, back when they were the Redskins, 91, the last time they won a Super Bowl. And honestly, they haven't played well for 20 years.
Right.
With the exception of a okay season here and there. Maybe I think they have one playoff win.
Right.
But I mean, that's the NFL.
Right.
And
it's hard to put long runs together.
It is.
And the reality is, I mean, what we're looking at right now, I mean, if you think about what Ben Roethlisberger was, Ben Roethlisberger was the 11th pick in the draft, which means he's pretty darn high.
Right.
Okay. And to be honest, he was only number 11 because there were two other Hall of Fame quarterbacks selected before him.
Right.
In Rivers and Manning. If one or two of them weren't there, he would have been selected in the top 5.
Right.
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 So that's a huge difference than, a quarterback being selected at like number 20.
Right.
Now, at the same time, look, we all know, you're Tom Brady, he's a 6th rounder, and, Brock Purdy's a 7th rounder, and Jalen Hurts and Drew Brees are 2nd rounders. Yeah, there's always going to be people like that. But the reality is most of the guys who are great are usually picked in the top 10. And that's what the Steelers had been dealing with, for the longest time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when that's gone, that's, right now it's all about the quarterback. You can win games and be decent and average if you have average quarterback play, but you're not getting very far in the playoffs.
No, I agree. Well, this is definitely going to be the game that I think defines at least the first half of this season.
Yes.
If the Steelers come back out, if Kenny Pickett is sharp, if the line protects him, if they have a game plan, what I would do is I would look to run this ball and establish the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
You got a young offensive line that we thought was improving. You got Broderick Jones in there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get Darnell Washington into the mix here.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely have to.
Yep.
Just like Steve said last week, between Joey Porter Jr., Darnell Washington, Broderick Jones, George Pickens in his 2nd year, Kenny Pickett out there. This is the future of your franchise. These are the best players on the team right now. They need to be on the field. And getting Darnell Washington into the blocking scheme and the running game. And then, good Lord, he can just plant himself in the center of the field, and you can throw a ball that's normally a jump ball, and he doesn't even have to jump to get it. And, oh, by the way, he weighs almost 300 pounds anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why is this guy not in, And yeah, we're on the 2nd game, but they got to get him in here. I think he has the potential to be a game changer. Now, I'm not talking about Rob Gronkowski, all right, as a tight end, or Travis Kelce. By game changer, what I mean is his mere presence on the field and his size and ability to move and to block and to get in the way, coupled with the fact that he can probably catch the ball. And if the guy catches the ball and gets a head of steam on, I'm not sure anybody's going to tackle him. He just changes the landscape. Even though he's not a superstar, they have to account for him.
Right.
And that is something that the Canada offense obviously does not do. They do not scheme the way other offensive scheme. It's basically, to me, it always looks like there's one option.
Yeah, it's kind of,
and that's it.
And that's when players on other teams last year were saying it was like a high school offense.
Right. Right. There's one option. And if that option doesn't look good when you come to the line of scrimmage, you're not allowed to change it.
Right.
So what do you change it to?
Right.
So I'm looking for the Steelers to come out and establish a running game. and to use the tight ends and to bring those safeties up. And then I want to see George Pickens go long. Well, I want to see him go long. I don't want an out pattern that he has to make an OBJ catch.
Right.
I mean, who the hell cares? Half of those catches don't count anyway because he's out of bounds.
Well, the other thing too is, if you think back to, when Ben Roethlisberger started, right?
Yeah.
His first year, where they won almost every game. Now, granted, part of that was because they had an excellent team, good defense, good running game, good receivers.
Yeah, but he was the key. If they didn't have Roethlisberger, they probably would not have won what they won.
Yeah, it would have been like a 9-7, 8-8 if Tommy Maddox was the quarterback.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What a lot of people forget, people are so used to the fact that Ben Roethlisberger put up all these yards and all these touchdowns over the years, right? The first year or two, even that they were with Ben, they would be a grinded out running team. He'd only throw about 20 passes a game. And so what you do when you do that is, number one, you take pressure off of the quarterback. Okay. So let's look at tonight's game. If you position it like that, what do you do right away? If you run the ball, you take Myles Garrett out of the game. You run it right at him, right? And he's blowing by it, right?
Right.
You keep Kenny Pickett clean and healthy, right? You orchestrate some short passes so that he has the ball out of his hands quickly, and you neutralize the pass rush, right? And then after you're running it, then you do a play action fake and you go up top to Pickens. That's what they did with Ben the first 2 years a lot.
That's true. That's true.
And it's just a good way to keep your quarterback
upright,
upright and confident. Because let's face it, no matter what, I mean, look, it's great when guys come back in right after a interception and show that they're not afraid and, they've got good poise and all that kind of stuff. But I don't care who you are. You throw an interception and you're rattled.
That's exactly right. Especially when you're sitting where Kenny Pickett is sitting.
Right.
DG says he's a fan and he's nervous too. He recalls the Browns game when they came into Pittsburgh in January 21. Yeah. And spanked the Steelers in the wild card with 48 points when Ben and crew had 12 wins that season. Absolutely. It's a division game and you never know what's going to happen. And this team, to me, they are not striking fear into the hearts of the rest of the NFL. And until I see some real progression, I am going to continue to be critical of the offense and the way it runs. Look, the defense is, hey, listen, TJ Watt is an incredible defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the defense is mediocre.
Right.
And it has been for a couple years.
Minka's good. But I do agree.
I disagree. I think Minka has moments.
Yeah.
I think he has moments.
You know what he is? He's a big play guy. So he makes big plays, but he also does give up some big plays.
Yes. Minka has moments. But at the same time, if the rest of the defense was a little better, Minka may actually have more of those moments.
Yeah, so, I mean, like their corners are weak.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are weak.
Yeah.
Now they do have Highsmith. Highsmith is good.
He's an edge rusher.
Right. It seems like their line is decent.
Their line is good. I think Leal is decent.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I am predicting a Steelers loss. I hate to say it. I don't know if Steve is listening or watching still. Probably not. He's probably 7 Iron Cities in. But I think the Steelers are going to lose this game. I think they're actually going to lose this game. I hate to say this, DG. Don't hate me for this. Actually, DG might be with me on this. I think they're going to lose. I think the Browns are going to score a lot. I think they're going to lose this game 35-17.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bad loss.
See,
I feel bad about this game. That's why, and I feel bad saying this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the whole problem is like, I don't even know what to think. I mean, I don't like there's been nothing that's established with this team to tell you that they're going to be able to perform one way or another. I mean, I feel like the team has been like basically 500 for 3 years.
It has.
So it's like that. To me, that means win one, lose one, win one, lose one. I don't know what this one's going to be.
Right. Well, in that pattern, it should be win-win.
It should.
So why don't you pick them to win, Schwaber?
It should be, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, like you just have no idea. Like, you could have like a Kenny Pickett coming out party tonight, and that would be awesome.
It would be.
Or you could have at the end of the night, we're like, yeah, Kenny Pickett's not the answer.
That's where I'm afraid we're headed.
It's such a swing.
Yes.
It's such a swing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
We have no idea. And if you think about it, like, I guess sort of more on a negative end of things is that, it's year 2, game 2. And the fact that we don't know that he's the guy is kind of a problem.
That's exactly right.
That's
where this organization is headed right now.
Right.
And I am afraid that, in today's NFL, you really don't need a great big sample size to see if the quarterback that you want is going to be the quarterback of the future. Think about it. Joe Burrow, he got injured early in his first year, but in his second year,
he was pretty much good from the beginning.
By game 3, you knew he was the man.
Right.
Same thing with Mahomes.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to get a Mahomes, but let's take an older guy. Let's take Kirk Cousins. Okay. Back in the beginning of his career, when I was still a Redskins fan,
pretty much when he came in, he was good.
I was watching RG3 get injured, and every time he got injured, Cousins would come in and win the game. And all I could think about at that point was, this is the guy that's going to be the quarterback. You can just tell.
Right.
And I can't say that with Pickett. I could say that with Pickett at the end of his college season, but that's a whole other ball game.
Right.
Okay, listen, we're going to make this show a little short tonight because the game, I think, starts at 8:15. So we're going to get on to our NFL predictions right now. Steve dialed his predictions in already. So last week, Minnesota at Philly. Steve had Minnesota. Mark and Chris had the Eagles. Steve had Miami over the Pats. Mark and Chris had the Pats. And Indy at Houston, the barn burner. Me and Steve took Indy and Mark took Houston. So on the season right now, Steve and Chris, we are 2-1. Mark is 1-2. We're going to pick the games this week.
Really sad moment. I mean,
sad moment.
I don't think I've spent one day out of first place in our history with this.
Okay, well, we don't have any stat records to back that up, so you can,
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Yeah, okay.
I think I led from beginning to end last year.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It did happen.
Okay, well, you're proud of yourself. Okay, so this week, Thursday night's game, Giants at the 49ers. Steve has the Niners. Schwaber.
That's pretty damn easy. The Niners.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Oh, no.
Yep.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm taking the Giants because I'm always trying to one-up you guys.
You are. All right.
Yep. Do I think the Giants are going to win? I have to because I picked them.
Right.
Sunday night, Steelers again at the why are they playing so much prime time? Well, it's because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
And who doesn't love the Steelers?
Exactly.
Steelers at the Raiders. Steve has did he pick the Raiders? Yeah, he did. He picked the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders as well.
Yeah, and
Jimmy G.
I know.
All he does is win.
I know. I'm going with the Raiders too. Dagnabbit. All right. The 0-2 Bowl. Chargers, Vikings, our two fantasy quarterbacks. Yes. We've got a problem.
No, we don't actually.
Yeah,
because losing in fantasy is good because then you get to throw for 350 yards every second half.
So who's throwing for 350 yards and losing this game? Chargers
I think they're both throwing for 350 yards.
You're probably right. Steve has the Vikings.
I'm going to go Chargers in this one. I just believe that the Chargers are a better team than an 0-3 team.
Yeah, and I'm going with the Vikings because it's a must-win, and Cousins, he's got something to prove. I think this is the last year of his contract.
You like that?
I do like that. You like that. You like that. All righty. Okay, so Hey, listen, guys.
Time to say sayonara.
I think it's time to wrap it up because it is time for the Steelers and the Browns on Monday night.
Let's get ready to rumble. Steelers.
All right. I want to thank you for watching the Sports Porch Pittsburgh. On the end, where are we? Oh, yeah. We're live on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, X, which is Twitter.
Coming right from our studios in Monroeville.
The Bunker. And we drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcast.
There's the pirate.
There he is,
There
folks.
he is, mighty.
And you can always catch us live on theporchislive.com, theporchislive.com. theporchislive.com. There you go. And Radio PGH. What a horrible ending to a great show.
That was pretty good. I thought I actually surprised myself.
I know.
Pretty good with a little pirate action.
The Pirates accent. And we will catch you possibly if Steve is still upright at halftime.